Right. I want to talk about the globalists, but there is one person in particular that has really begun to annoy me. And her name is Ursula von der Leyen. Oh. She seems to think that she has the authority to tell us, we the people, what we can think, what we can say, and what we can do. She does not have that authority. No more than the corner shop owner does. And yet, she dares to attack our freedom of speech in a bid to set herself high on a pedestal above the rest of us, as if she were the only authority on what is true and what is false information. The same people have been misleading the public with fake science, downright lies and fake news for the last 3 years. And Ursula is claiming that the unelected WEF are the only source of truth. They censor the real truth by controlling Facebook, YouTube, and Google. The only power Ursula has over any of us is the power that we, as individuals, give over to her. Take your power back. Speaking at Davos in January, she said, the top concern for the next 2 years is not conflict and it's not climate change. Not climate change? I thought that was the most important thing. So what's ULEZ all about then? If they can put climate change on hold for 2 years, then why not ULEZ? So, when we take a little closer look at that statement, climate change is not their top priority anymore, we can see that the WEF have a control knob and they can turn global warming up or down, on or off as they wish, much like how you control the climate in your house. And Ursula has decided to turn global warming off for the next 2 years and come after the people who are exposing their tyrannical agenda. Us here today. Their transhuman agenda. Their we will own nothing and be happy agenda. Ursula von der Leyen's top concern is me and people like me, Andrew Bridgen, Fiona Diamond, Debbie Hicks, and the many thousands of experts such as Judith Curry, Mike Yeadon, Dr. Bhakdi, all of whom know for certain that global warming is nothing more than a massive money-making scam that these screwballs are using to enslave the rest of us in a digital dystopian nightmare. By the way, just a quick question. What percentage of CO2 do you think is in our atmosphere? Come on, seriously. Shout your answers out. Yes, 0.04%. 0.04%. That's not even 0.5%. And did you know if it drops down to 0.02%, all plant life will die? But think about what Ursula said, because from another perspective, we can see how scared of us the globalists are. Think about it. When we take back our power, when we come together in protest, regardless of colour, ethnicity, or religious beliefs, regardless even of our uniquely different opinions, when we lay all of those things aside and take our power back and come together in large numbers, we discover what amazingly powerful beings we truly are. Isn't that wonderful news? Ursula's words are the words of a person in fear. That means we are successfully pushing back against their fake news and propaganda. And if we keep pushing back, they will crumble. So for anyone who thinks protests don't actually achieve anything, here you are, witnessing the power of resistance. Back in 2010, a British barrister who had connections with MI5 by the name of Michael Shrimpton told us how a third war with Germany was urgently needed because we never got rid of the Nazis in World War II. And he said big trouble would soon fall upon us if we don't have that war, which he hoped would happen by 2012 to get rid of the Nazis once and for all. He said the Nazis were everywhere and were infiltrating the Western governments. Oh yeah. What was it Klaus Schwab said? We have infiltrated most Western governments. As you know, we never had that third war with Germany. And soon after telling us that, Michael was bumped off. And here we are in the situation we're in today. Ursula implied that the truth tellers are dangerous and a serious risk to our ability to tackle the big global challenges. I guess by that she means that we are preventing them from forcing a digital ID on us, a digital currency, and forcing experimental Frankenstein injections into us. So here, Ursula is acknowledging our success by admitting we are making their lives difficult. So well done to everyone who has helped with this pushback over the last 3 years. I would like to remind Ursula von der Leyen of the definition of Terrorism Act 2000, which states, in this act, terrorism means the use or threat of action where the use or threat is designed to intimidate the public, and the use or threat is made for the purpose of advancing a political or ideological cause, such as climate change or transhumanism. Therefore, any attempts by Ursula to remove our fundamental, basic human rights to live freely will put her in breach of the Terrorism Act and liable to arrest. In an attempt to silence me, Ursula will probably call me a far-right extremist or something ridiculous like that. Left, right, in the middle, far right, far left? It's all baloney. It's all nonsense. They do this only to divide us. One day, she might even claim I'm a terrorist, spreading dangerous conspiracy theories and disinformation around. Because these narcissistic bullies like to call people names to achieve their objectives. And how stupid we have all become over the decades to allow them to do this to us. Well, Ursula, I'm afraid I don't go along with your corrupt style of politics. I am Jasmin, a unique and free human being, and I have my own opinions, which I appreciate may be different to yours. We are all human beings, for God's sake. Stop allowing these globalists to divide us. If I cut a black man's arm, or a Muslim's arm, or a Jew's arm, or a Christian's arm, his blood will be red, like yours and mine. Any differences of colour we have, or ethnicity, our languages, our beliefs, our cultures, even our different opinions, all of these so-called differences are what makes the human race such a wonderful, colourful and beautiful species. Why do we fight over these differences? My advice to anyone... We're here to help you in the meantime. My advice to anyone is don't believe what you are told on the TV. Question everything. Always do your own research and use your own brain. What we in the trade call critical thinking. They are lying about climate change. There is no such thing. The only reason we have floods and extreme weather is because they keep spraying our skies with poisons to change the weather and to stop our farmers growing the food we need to live. what they call geoengineering or cloud seeding. Exactly, yeah, chemtrails. I mean, you can't even see the blue sky anymore, it's white. There is no such thing as global warming caused by human beings or the activities of humans. It's all baloney. Fake and the climate change hoax is how they intend to get the people to comply with their step-by-step plan to enslave the human race in a dystopian world. Their evil plan involves all of our bodies being connected to a digital ID in what they will call the Internet of Bodies. This ID will be connected to our 15-minute zone, and the ID will not work outside of our zone. This is all being brought in slowly, step by step, drip by drip dystopia. If these criminals get their way, we will need our digital ID to access our bank account, to enter a doctor's surgery, hospitals, supermarkets, etc., everything. And guess what? If your lethal biotech injections are not kept up to date in accordance with what Tony Blair says, your ID will switch off and become invalid. That's where they want to take the world. The globalists have turned the truth upside down. So whatever they tell you, the opposite is the truth. When they say Israel has the right to defend themselves, that means Israel is committing genocide. When they say Russia is losing the war, that means Ukraine is losing the war. When they say Russia has sent in Nazis, that means the West has sent in Nazis. When they say Russia is causing World War III, that means the West is causing World War III. It's very, very simple, really. Now, I just want to say something to Nigel Farage. And I know you mean well, but even you have become ill-informed and have fallen into the trap of believing nonsense. Nigel, I hope you hear this. You can buy yourself an aeroplane ticket and spend 10 days in Shanghai in China. It will only cost you £1,000 and includes hotel accommodation. So before you speak about China again, please go and buy a ticket. Too many times I've heard you repeat the same false information about China. So I want to put you right on a few things. Also, in case any of you didn't know, you'll know now. I went to Shanghai in October, just last year, not too long ago. And believe it or not, there is no facial recognition going on in China, no cashless shops out there. Actually, we tried to find a cashless shop, but every single shop took cash. There were even some shops that didn't even take card. Like, you know how Domino's doesn't take cash here? It takes cash in China. There is no digital currency out there. There is no social credit system out there and no digital ID out there. It is all disinformation, spewed out by the globalists and the mainstream media. All of these things are being rolled out here and in all Western countries in lockstep with each other. I have many family members in Shanghai who have lived there all of their lives, and they shuddered when I asked them if they would swap their life in China for life in the UK. When I told them about 15-minute cities, they had never even heard of them. So please, stop spreading false information around and go to China and bring me back evidence of anything you have been saying. Come back from China and tell me exactly what you mean when you use phrases such as the Chinafication of Europe. Because considering Ursula von der Leyen and Klaus Schwab are both German and the Nazis in the Ukraine belong to the West, and Klaus Schwab's father worked for the Nazis, and knowing how Nick Land, a British man who at university became a Nazi, then moved to China, Shanghai, believe it or not, and is still there, he went on to be a big influencer of the Nazi sympathizer called Yuval Noah Harari, who is ironically Jewish. Then, on top of that, we have the British spy, Michael Shrimpton, and what he told us. I think it would be far more accurate to say that what we are witnessing is the Nazification of Europe, not the Chinafication. Now, I want to finish by turning to Greta Thunberg and Rishi Sunak. Greta, you come across as a childish girl who says absolutely nothing worthwhile to the world regarding your ideas, your knowledge and expertise on climate change, or your expectations of climate change in the near future, and your scientific data that proves your knowledge is based on fact. So, to help me understand how wrong I am about you, would you be so kind as to speak to the world about your views on climate change? Maybe throw in a few climate change science certificates that you hold, so that we might be able to trust you. Go on, Greta. I dare you. Don't be a shy girl. Be a confident, smiley girl, like when you're being arrested. Come out and speak to the world. Turning to Rishi Sunak. He was asked at a recent hearing if he was part of the deep state. Rishi laughed, saying, "If I was, I wouldn't tell you." So, understand, people. This is how they think they can treat us. They are despicable imposters who do not represent the people. And if you think Keir Starmer will be any better, forget about it. It's all a farce. It's just a game they play for the same puppet master. Therefore, the government as it is needs to be abolished. Rishi knows the vaccines are not safe, but continues lying. And they lie all the time and don't even care that we know they are lying. They simply do not care, because they are just going to keep lying regardless and keep pressing ahead with their dystopian dreams, because no one is going to do anything about it. Look at the police. Have they arrested any of them yet? So that's the situation we are in. And it's very serious. We all need to come together and embrace we need to celebrate our differences. Together. In unity. And accept that there are good and bad people in all cultures, in all religions and all colours. Let's accept that fact and move on. All of us. We all have one common enemy. And if we lay our differences aside and come together as one huge, powerful force, we can defeat that enemy. We must stand up against the WHO pandemic treaty. It is our duty to bring about the end of our membership to the WHO. Thank you.